Akash Network is the world's first and only permissionless generalized compute supercloud. But what does this bunch of mumbo jumbo really mean? The Akash team claims that they have a 98% closing rate with developers once they deployed and understand what Akash is capable of. So let's do a deployment walkthrough, but not for the purpose of wowing developers who are the usual main target for Akash's demos. Let's instead do a deployment walkthrough for the holders of AKT. Because we also want to understand what the big deal is with this demo. Akash spends immense community funds on revamping this experience because they believe that this is the key to the future of the network. My name is Kaylem, and I'd like to take you on a quick dive around Akash console from a holder's perspective. We're going to hit up console.akash.network, which is already a working, robust web client. There are other more technical ways to deploy, but this is the easiest, especially for non-developers like myself. So we have this user interface, and up here on the right hand side you'll notice something minor, but very groundbreaking for Akash: trial accounts. So if I click this now, Akash will give me $10 in credit to deploy my first apps. Before this, getting some AKT was the hardest part of the potential customer experience, because there's just no easy way for a non-crypto native to get their hands on AKT. With trial accounts, they can now see the value upfront first, deploy first, and then decide if they want to go through the trouble of getting AKT. Or they can add more AKT using fiat payments, which is the second important update coming to console. That's the 1-2 punch for the non-crypto normie. Free trial to hook them in, fiat payments to get them through the door without going through any of the hard barriers of learning self-custody crypto when just trying to try out Akash for the first time. Now that we have our $10 to start, let's check out what there is to deploy. The menu on the left is simplistic, with home being home, deployments showing all of our active deployments, which we don't have any right now. We then have the templates. We'll get back to that in a bit. There's an SDL builder for people who want to build their own deployment SDLs, and there's a bit of a wizard here for those that know exactly what type of compute requirements they need for whatever it is that they're deploying. The providers tab shows a list of providers, of course, and then there's the FAQ, pretty self-explanatory. Since we're not developers, let's deploy a template, and then there are a lot to choose from. If you're going to give this a try, I highly recommend something easy like deploying a Tetris or a Pac-Man or anything here in the game section. I'll take the harder challenge and deploy something like a WordPress site, just to spice it up. All of these deployment files are made by people in the community, and if there's something that you want that isn't there, you can always build it out yourself or hire someone else to do it for you, which is how all of these templates are available today. When I hit the deploy button, the SDL code will be auto-generated, and you can see that there are some places where we can make some changes. So here I can set the specific names of my databases as well as any passwords prior to sending it out to the providers, but since we're not really making a real WordPress site, let's just go ahead and deploy. Before we do that, because I only have $10, let's go ahead and decrease some of the resources that we're asking for in this temporary deployment. So I'm going to confirm the deployment creation here, and the system's going to take a certificate fee, leaving me with $5 left to shop for any potential suppliers. While this is happening, what's happening behind the scenes is there's a reverse bidding engine at play here. Once our requirements are sent out to the network, all these providers are now pricing out how much it'll cost for us to deploy on their machine. Pricing is always going to be market driven, and you get to really drill down on where in the world you may want to deploy. We can also see that all these providers are audited and have very good healthy uptimes. So let's just go ahead, take the cheapest one and go. Within a short amount of time, our WordPress deployment will be done. Usually takes about a minute, but going back to the leases section, you'll now see that we have a link to our deployment, and there you go. We have a fully functional WordPress website that we can set up and now use. Now that we've confirmed we have a working site, let's take it down because there are no contracts or lock-ins with Akash. We just go ahead and go to deployments here. Now we see our deployment, select it, and then boom, it's gone. We get our money back just like we should. Now we can take that money again and go ahead and deploy something else in a few seconds, like a game. Here you go, easy as pie. So from a holder's perspective, what should we take away from this demo? The first is the power of permissionless compute. speed. If I wasn't explaining this, but I needed to deploy a website fast, that would have taken no time at all, maybe about 2 minutes. That's how fast you can go from no compute resources to having them from all over the world, 2 minutes. It's this fast because this is a permissionless decentralized system. You weren't inputting your info for a web host, applying for the resources. No, the system was waiting for your workload, not your mother's maiden name. So you can see that we didn't ask anyone for approval either before our deployment. There are no gatekeepers here. So people who build on Akash know that as long as Akash exists, the resources will be available to them. No one has the ability to take that away. You can see why protocols like Tau build on top of Akash compute now. Their miners and validators will never lose access, and they can scale up or down with ease, deploying or undeploying miners as they need it. The second thing to notice is the power of generalized compute. Check out this templates listing. Like, wow. From hosting your Counter-Strike game servers to contributing to decentralized training AI to hosting your coffee shop's website. There's something for everyone on Akash because Akash is built to power all of these applications with generalized compute. Akash doesn't just render. Akash doesn't just AI. Akash doesn't just anything. Akash just powers everything. And as a holder, when I see how frictionless this experience is, I cannot wait to see how the trial account and fiat payment feature updates to the console will affect the general adoption of Akash Network over time. That's it for me. Follow or subscribe if you like deep dives into Akash Network's inner workings and high-level concepts. See you next time.